Ladies and gentlemen, I think as Vancouver Canucks fans, we can happily say that the Rick Tocchet gamble has paid off. That's our parlaying, dice rolling, card shuffling, gambling dealing head coach right there in Rick Tocchet, because the gamble worked. Earlier in today's show, we had spoken about how starting Arturs Silovs in a game against the Chicago Blackhawks was met with much criticism. Hey, the Canucks need every point they can get. Why are you starting Silovs? Why is it not Lankinen? We had spoken about why it was Silovs earlier in today's show, but essentially, they gambled. Calgary and Utah both lost yesterday in regulation. The stakes were a little bit easier today as a result. So, go with Arturs Silovs, who only has one win on the season against one of the worst teams in the NHL, and see what happens. That is exactly what we saw as Artie Party gets himself the 6-2 win in regulation. That's his second win on the season, and the Vancouver Canucks take a much-needed 2 points. This game also had 6 Vancouver goals. The Vancouver Canucks have had so many problems scoring goals this year, in particular scoring more than 3 goals in a game. Last game doesn't count, by the way. That was a shootout goal. 4-3 win, yeah, I get it, but it's not 4 goals that they had scored. They've had so many issues getting past 3. And in this game, they get 6 against a Chicago Blackhawks team that is absolutely cooked. I mean, you just look at the morale, you look at how they played, you look at how often they were giving up goals, you look at Conor Bedard at the end. I mean, Conor Bedard might have requested a trade yesterday if he had his true inner thoughts exposed. But ultimately, Vancouver takes the 6-2 victory, and I wanted to get into a few things right off the bat in this video before we get into the actual goals, because there were 8 of them, which means we have to go out there and talk about 8 individual plays. But 2 things stand out to me immediately following this game. Number 1 is that Conor Bedard, who for the second game in a row was given a 10-minute game misconduct. Talk about a goon, eh? This is a guy barking at the referees, getting involved physically, getting a whole bunch of hooking penalties, and just getting frustrated. I mean, tonight was not a good night for Conor Bedard. In front of his hometown fans, in front of all the people whom he has grown up with as Vancouver Canucks fans here on the West Coast, as a member of the Chicago Blackhawks where he is supposed to be the guy, not only did he get shut down today, but he also got kind of humiliated. So Conor Bedard, you know, if you're sitting on the sidelines hoping that eventually one day he requests a trade to the Vancouver Canucks, games like these are gonna help him do that. And maybe it's kind of selfish as a Canucks fan to go out there and say that, but hey, Conor Bedard, bro, he's so good. Meanwhile, another talking point that I think everybody is buzzing around about is Filip Chytil, who has always had issues in New York staying healthy. That's one of the reasons why the Rangers gave up on this guy. He was always injury prone, and he's had a history of concussions. Well, what happens in today's game? He gets hit headfirst into the boards by Jason Dickinson, and he ends up leaving the game in the 3rd period. It is a super ugly play. No idea how Jason Dickinson did not get a penalty in this situation here, but Filip Chytil was dazed, he was stumbling as he got up, and it's just such a blow to the Vancouver Canucks if Filip Chytil misses an extended amount of time. Of course, though, we recognize just how fragile his frame has been the past few years, so ultimately at this point, us Canucks fans, all we can do is hope for the best and a speedy recovery to whatever it is he ended up getting in this play. With that out of the way, let's talk about the game here. So the first period for Vancouver-Chicago was a really weird one, because if you look at the shots, you'll see that Vancouver got outshot 5-4 by Chicago. But it was a really weird period in that it was fast-moving, there were no whistles, 1 whistle in 12 minutes of game time, I think it was, and the Canucks had a 2-0 lead. Vancouver had so much offensive zone time and pressure in this first period that you just knew the dam was going to break. It wasn't even like Arvid Soderblom was making any saves. The Canucks were just not finding ways to score. Ultimately, after another one of these long, extended shifts of ozone time for Vancouver, it's Quinn Hughes who ends up sidestepping around the forward who's forechecking him. I think it's Tyler Bertuzzi. And he's got a clear lane. Quinn walks right in, he shoots, he beats Soderblom glove side, and that is, I think, the Canucks' third shot of the game, something like that. Give it just 35 seconds, though, and Vancouver comes back in to the ozone with a really beautiful drop pass over to Tyler Myers. What a play! Beautiful drop pass from Kiefer Sherwood, and Myers finds the glove as well, making it 2-0 Vancouver in the first period. Sherwood and Bluger get the assists here. Vancouver's off to a great start. They also killed a penalty in that first period, mind you, so Chicago not off to as much momentum as they would like. And then in the second period, this is when Vancouver starts to really open the gates a little bit, as Conor Garland and Pius Suter do a really nice give-and-go play, entering the offensive zone. Suter centers it back over for Garland, who backhands it right by Arvid Soderblom. 3-0 Vancouver, 8 minutes into the second period. At this point, I'm calmly thinking to myself, yeah, the Vancouver Canucks are going to win this game. And Artie Party is going to get his second go. But not without any faults, because Alex Vlasic, with a minute to go in the second period, ends up making it 3-1, assisted by Teravainen and Ryan Donato here. Vlasic takes the puck at the blue line. He walks around the other 72 on Vancouver, Filipino, and he throws a long shot to the goal. That's it. A screened long shot beats Arturs Silovs one more time. Where have we seen that before? That's been the formula all playoff long last year and all season long at the beginning of this year. That was always the problem with Arturs Silovs, and he gets beat today from another long wrist shot. He looked okay earlier on in the game. I'd say that, of course, surviving 40 minutes, almost 40 minutes, without giving up a goal is good. But there were some shaky moments from Silovs, and this goal ultimately is another one in the coffin of him getting these longer shots against. So, fighting traffic, being able to see through screens, that does seem to still be an issue for Silovs. Of course, though, he still gets the win, so we're not going to complain too much. In the third period, 4 minutes in, Elias Pettersson scores a goal assisted by Nils Höglander, but it's a really weird one. Pettersson does a fantastic job corralling a Höglander pass and dangling it right by the Chicago guys in front. He does a nice little toe driggy, he shoots it, it goes in, but the puck is in and out so quickly that they don't know that the puck actually went in. Höglander then picks up the rebound, walks out in front, he shoots, and then he beats Soderblom clean. But then the referees, upon further review, are like, oh wait, no, the 40 shot, the Elias Pettersson shot, it went in. No goal, Höglander, but you still get an assist because you fed it out to Petey, who toe-dragged around the guy and ended up finding the back of the net. Beautiful play. That is Elias Pettersson classic mode. He's going out there with the toe drags and the shots and the snipes and the one-timers. Oh my gosh, he's back. He is fully back, everybody. Okay, maybe not fully back. We still need to wait till he gets the 5-point game before we can declare that he's fully back, but 2 points in this one definitely is not anything to scoff at. Artyom Levshunov gets his first NHL point 1 minute later, assisting on Wyatt Kaiser's fourth goal on the year. He ends up coming in down the wing, and he snipes it by Arturs Silovs. It's a play. You know, it happens. He just kind of beats Silovs on the glove side, and it's kind of one of these unfortunate bobbles that you just don't really want to see a goaltender give up, but he ended up giving it up, so there's that. A few minutes later, though, you have Nils Aman getting his first goal on the season off of a really great setup by Sherwood and Bluger. This play is started by Aman, who keeps the puck in at the Chicago blue line. Bluger, down low, sends it out in front for Sherwood, who backhands it through the crease for Nils Aman, and he finds the back of the net there. Beautiful backdoor play, and then 8 seconds later, you have Pius Suter scoring from Conor Garland and Dakota Joshua. Yeah, that's right, the Canucks got 2 goals in 35 seconds from Hughes and Myers, and then they got 2 goals in 8 seconds from Nils Aman and Pius Suter. What a ridiculous play this is, as the Canucks just kind of play tic-tac-toe with it. Garland gets the pass from Joshua in front and then centers it the opposite way. Beautiful, beautiful chemistry by the Canucks here. The rest of the third period was filled with a lot of rough stuff. Guys getting angry, guys getting pissed off, and Connor Bedard getting the misconduct once again. Jason Dickinson had the hit on Hedel, and then there were a lot of other penalties too, bunch of misconducts there. But at the end of the day, you know, the Canucks scored 6 goals on 15 shots, and that's all you got to look at when thinking about the results here. Vancouver gets the 2 points. It's a big 2 points. They needed this one, and they leapfrog Calgary in the wild card standings because of it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this Canucks game versus the Blackhawks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Roll 9, and bye.